When are they delivering your furniture to your place? So you move in? So the day after close? Oh, okay. Okay, that's good.
I think it's more when you can put it in. I shouldn't say things out of turn. It's good.
You have a picture of Eileen or John or something?
Yeah, I know.
Well, you mentioned it. Yeah, I haven't been there. Last time I was there, I
Those are the things I was talking about, the downsizing. I had to get rid of a lot of photographs. I did. I couldn't bring it all. I don't have the room. So I just cut the ones that were the most meaningful or the oldest, like about 10 very hard, very emotional and wrenching. So that's why that's what I was asking you. Not about the ones that are anybody should go back. I gave it. I don't cook, I don't serve. I brought my Lennox with me. I got rid of my everyday. And I eat in the same place. I make my own breakfast and lunch. I spend dinner in the dining room. Get all. So I have service for Charles and Lennox.
did you see the pictures of Vicky's, menagerie?
So ever
See
see
the
that?
pictures of Vicky's menagerie?
Mother-in-law has a girl who was 90,
Yeah, book John. He's up in the middle of Maine. Way up there. No, he's gonna come down to Connecticut, stay for a couple days, and then come down to the. Was that cold line? Frank, where's your youngster? I didn't know you were the rabbi, Frank, congratulations.
I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, that's why I left.
You look healthy, nice and tan. Your trip.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome back.
How are you feeling better? Perfect. That's what we like to hear.
Hine, Matov, Uma, Naim, Sheverachim, Sheverachim, Gam Yachad. Hine, Matov, Uma, Naim, Sheverachim, Sheverachim, Gam Yachad. Hine, Matov, Uma, Naim, Sheverachim, Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Uma, Naim, Shevet Achim, Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Uma, Naim, Shevet Achim, Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Uma, Naim, Shevet Achim, Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Shevet Achim, Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Shevet Achim, Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Uma, Naim, Shevet Achim, Gam Yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, almost. Let's turn to the middle of page 124 of our prayer books, page 1 of the Satellite Siddur for those joining by live stream, and we'll read together. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome hearts to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. For all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. Good evening, everybody, and almost Shabbat Shalom. I welcome all of you joining our Shabbat services tonight. Hope you had a great week as we come together to celebrate Shabbat as a family. For those joining by live stream, I hope you found the satellite Siddur so that you can participate in today's service. Excuse me. Let's make tonight's Shabbat official by inviting Heather and Beth to light our Sabbath candles. And we turn to page 120 of our prayer books, or page 1 of the satellite Siddur.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Let's continue reading together. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Thank you, ladies. Let's turn to page 125 of our prayer books. Where has the week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must be returned. On this day, Shabbat abide. Let's continue together. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time, contain the retreat of hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat abide. May these Shabbat hours of rest and renewal now begun open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise for us all.
And we continue on page 142 in Mishkan Tefillah in the satellite Siddur, page 2. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharit, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barhuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzichem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we continue on pages 144 and page 2 responsively. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah Ve'alma divrach yiruteh Ve'amlich malchuteh B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayed kol beit Yisrael Bagala ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשא בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו Amen. As we turn to pages 146 and 3, we rise for the Baruch, which we do responsively. Frank and I do the first line, and you all respond. Baruch et Adonai hamavorach. Baruch Adonai hamavorach leolam vaed.
Please be seated. Let's turn to the top of page 149, page 3 of the Satellite Siddur. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Together, creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. The heaven spans to infinity. You set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows.
And I seal what you just read. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv harabim.
Amen. Turn to the middle of page 150 of our prayer book, and we'll read together. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
And once again, I seal your beautiful reading. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני Adonai Elohechem. Once again, I seal it, and you come in on Emet. Adonai Elohechem, Emet.
Please turn to the top of page 157 in our prayer books, or page 5 of the Satellite Siddur. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. Together, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Mi khamoch ba'elim Adonai, mi kamoch nadav kodesh, norat tehilot osefele. Nora tehilot osefele. Malchutecha ra'onecha bokayam lifnei Moshe Miriam ze'elianu ve'amru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed V'ne'emar כי פד אדוני את יעקב, וגלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי לי לי, יאי לי לי לי.
Let's turn to the middle of page 161, or the bottom of page 5 in the satellite Siddur. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Together, watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
Baruch atah Adonai, hapori sukkah shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo, ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai, hapori sukkah shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. And we turn the page. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'rid olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'rid olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'rid olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'rid olam. Vayom hashvi shavar vayinafash, shavar vayinafash, shavar vayinafash. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'rid olam.
As we turn to the tefillah, the core of our Shabbat service, I ask you to rise as we turn to page 164 in our prayer books, page 7 in the satellite Siddur. Either read silently through page 179 or say internally whatever you're feeling at this time. We will come back together once everyone is seated.
Osa Shalom Bimramav Huyasa Shalom Aleinu Ve'alkum Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Osa Shalom Bimramav Huyasa Shalom Aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Osa Shalom Bimramav Huyasa Shalom Aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Osa Shalom Bimramav Huyasa Shalom Aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen.
To worship is to stand in awe under a heaven of stars, before a flower, a leaf in the sunlight, or a grain of sand. To worship is to work with dedication and skill. It is to pause from work and listen to a strain of music. Worship is loneliness seeking communion. It's a thirsty land crying out for rain. Worship is kindred fire in our hearts. It moves through deeds of kindness and acts of love. Worship is the mystery within us reaching out to the mystery beyond. It is an articulate silence yearning to speak. It is the window of the moment open to the sky of the eternal. Please turn to page 371 of our prayer book, page 9 of the Satellite Siddur. The Mishaber prayer is for those who are in need of healing of mind, healing of body, healing of spirit, healing for national or international upheaval, or for any need whatsoever. We've been asked to offer prayers for our JCMI members and family. Leah Jacobson, Joan Thompson, Bert Thompson, Bert Posner, Roberta Schwartz, Jane Barron, Joanne Blau, Shirley Posner, Larry Satcher, Tony Pinto, Beth Pavlov, Steve Roberts, Herb Wallach, and Carol Gross. And for friends and family of the congregation, Tal Ba'orat Bachira, Robert D'Onofrio, John Vernon, Shayla Monasterio, Julie Fitzgerald, Susan Donahue, Margaret Gallivan, Pamela Michael, Gary Singer, Mary Ann Mulligan, Peter Giori, Linda Gagnon, Christy Raymond, Tom Mulata, Brendan Ben-Sharon, Roger Andruski, Teddy Emerson, Steve Duchemin, Rosa Footlick, Barbara Kretschmer, Jeff Ormland, Mary Fennis-Sand, Pete Carochi, Henry Berner, Bill Kuhn, Denise Sparks, Lenore Savannah, Debbie Jones. Anybody else want to add names to the list? Beth? Heather? Anybody else? Please join Cantor Harry in singing the Mishabera prayer.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor Abracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikol habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Jonathan Greenfield, please come up and do the Kiddush and the Motzi. Please rise and turn to page 123 of our prayer book, page 10 in the Satellite Siddur.
And we rise.
This seventh day is consecrated to the eternal God. On Shabbat, eternal signs of creation, we remember that we are created in the divine image. We therefore raise the cup in thanksgiving. Let us read together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam borei peri hagafen. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'ma'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehillah l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim ki vanu b'chata v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uv'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat.
Amen.
And as Jonathan does surgery on the challah, we join in Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. David melech Yisrael Chai, chai, v'kayam. David melech Yisrael, 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 chai, chai, v'kayam. Hava nagila, hava nagila, hava nagila, v'nismecha. Hava nagila, hava nagila, hava nagila, v'nismecha. Hava niranana, hava niranana, hava niranana v'nismecha. Hava niranana, hava niranana, hava niranana v'nismecha. Uru, Uruachim, Urachim b'lev sameach, Urachim b'lev sameach, Urachim b'lev sameach, Urachim b'lev sameach, Urachim b'lev sameach. Well, your munching will bring up the real entertainment. This week's parasha, Pinchas, is being presented to us by my friend, my innkeeper, and our wonderful congregant, Sandra Heckler.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Shabbat shalom to everybody. Well, this is a lengthy parsha, I thought, and some of it I decided not to deal with because there was a portion that I really liked. So I decided that was where my interest would go. In this portion, God tells Moses that he wants a census taken. They had had one sometime before, but that he wanted another census. So they take a census of all the tribes, and then the tribes will deal with the clans. This is easier. Oh, okay. So I hear better. Okay. A census is being taken. And it is the tribes those in charge of the tribes, they will take the census. And then the tribes, inside of the tribes, they will take the census for the clans. And all of this is really getting ready for the day when they will enter the promised land. This is organization. Nothing like when they first left Egypt. You'd be reminded of that. Anyway, so they've taken the census, and they've taken the census of the clans. Now, before anything really takes place after that, before the land in the promised land is apportioned to the people in the tribes and then in the clans, what happens is something very interesting. There was a man who was head of a clan in the tribe of Manasseh. This man's name was Zelophehad. I have trouble pronouncing it. Anyway, Zelophehad died. So what's interesting? He didn't leave any sons. He left 5 daughters. Problem? There's always a problem for Jews, I think. The 5 daughters decide that they want to inherit. Amongst the Hebrews, the women were not inheriting. And I have to say something interesting. I was sort of surprised that in the commentary in the Torah book, it stated that, in the countries surrounding them in the Middle East, women had been inheriting for a very long time. Only amongst the Israelites, the women were not inheriting. That really shocked me. How could that be? I always thought we were superior. Okay, so the women were not inheriting. Oh, it mentioned, by the way, the 2 countries where they mentioned were Mesopotamia and Egypt, of all places, from which the Israelites had escaped as slaves. So the 5 daughters, and here their names were even given, and I thought that was interesting. Mala, Noah, Hogla, Mika, Tirzah. I don't expect you to remember them. I don't either. But I thought it was interesting that the names were given. It wasn't just five daughters and that's it. Anyway, the daughters get together, and I was surprised that they all agreed. I thought 5 daughters to agree, that's really something. They agreed that they wanted to inherit, and they're going to do something about it. So they go to the tent of meeting before the land is given out, to the tent of meeting. Who's there? Moses, a priest named Ezekiel, and tribal heads. Kind of interesting. I'm going to come back to that. Anyway, they tell their story. One of the things that they emphasize in particular is not only that they want land, they want to protect their father's name. If the daughters don't inherit anything, then there's a smaller chance that Zelophehad, the father, that his name as the name of the clan will be preserved. Okay, because they would marry away and probably go off to another clan with the man with whom they had married. All right. So they present all of this to Moses, Ezekiel, and the tribal heads. No answer is given. Moses consults with God. That's not so surprising. And God listens, and finally he says, their demand is just. It's funny because when I had been doing it over again in my mind, I said, oh yeah, their demand was right. And then I went back and read it and it said just. And I thought, it was a better word, just, because justice was involved in this. The only hitch, there's always a hitch, always a hitch. God says, well, the only thing is, if and when they marry, they have to marry somebody related to them, that is, within the clan probably. If they go far afield and marry somebody who genetically, the word was not used, but I'm using it, is not genetically related to them, then probably what would happen is the women would leave their clan and go off to another clan with their husband. And God doesn't want that to happen. Okay, they agree. That's all fine. Now, I'm going to deviate for a moment. What happened was, when I read this about Moses, Ezekiel, and the tribal heads, I thought, they've come a long way, not just in miles. Because if you go back to Exodus, and I think it's Parsha 18, I remember that very well. And it was called Yitro, which really is Jethro. And Jethro was Moses' father-in-law, was not an Israelite, by the way. Excuse me. And Jethro had heard about great things that Moses had done. You know, he'd taken the Israelites he'd taken them into the desert and was leading them. So Jethro decides to go find Moses and visit him. Finds him, and he sees that he's overwhelmed. He's got so many people all over him, asking him for help. and Jethro says, you can't go on like this. These people are all over you. You need help. What got me was the fact that he was, no, thank you. Okay. You need help. And Moses said, yeah, you're right. I do need help. Well, that's the reason that Parsha stuck with me. That how many people of that level would say, yes, I need help? I don't think so. But that he was able to accept help from other people. He wasn't so in love with himself. And I thought, there's a real mensch. Anyway, so now, when we go back to tonight's Parsha, you see the organization. True, a lot of it, thank you, a lot of it came from God, but Moses led the way, and he was willing to go with other people as well. And I found that equally interesting, as interesting as the daughters and what they were asking for. In thinking about how I wanted to end this, something popped into my mind. My mother
used to write a column for her temple, a monthly bulletin, the news of the Jews. And anyway, besides signing her name, she used to always sign it, Am Yisrael Chai, the Israelite people live. And so I will close tonight with Am Yisrael Chai. Good night. Hope you like it.
Can you all hear me? Shabbat Shalom. Greetings from our Board of Directors and a few announcements. I welcome visitors worshiping with us tonight and invite you to stay on hand for the Oneg Shabbat following services. Tonight's Oneg was coordinated by Mary Pinto, Heather Greenfield, Sandra Heckler, Barbara Holtz, Beth Weinberg, and Lynn Wilk. Our flowers are donated by Jonathan and Heather Greenfield in memory of Ron Dwaron. Current details of everything going on in congregational life can be found on our website, in our monthly newsletter, The Messenger, and in the semi-weekly email notifications we send out to membership. Tonight, I'll remind everyone, the office will be working on high holiday honors, which will be mailed out in August, so that's just to give everyone a heads up. The Chess Club meets here at JCMI every Tuesday from 9:30 to 12 p.m. Please contact Irv Pavlov if you're interested. JCMI has Pony Canasta every Thursday at 12 here at JCMI. Please contact Beth Weinberg via email. The Women's Book Club flyer is around the building and on our website for the next season, so you can start your reading this summer. The office is selling Memorial Yahrzeit candles if you need any. Do not forget to bring in food for those in our community less fortunate when you come on Fridays, or leave a donation in the tzedakah box. And now, as we come to conclusion of tonight's service, I invite to the beam our final honorees, Sandra and Howard Heckler. Let us please reopen our prayer books to page 586 and rise together for Elena.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. They had names like Auntie Bee and Aunt Laura and wore tight corsets. When you put your arms around them, you could feel the wires. They had papery skins, cheeks like moths' wings that trembled when you kissed them. Their husbands were dead, or they were called Sam or Arthur, and wore hats even in summer. They smoked cigars that always went out, and they let them go out. The old people had candies in their pockets and Kleenex. They carried pictures of grandchildren and knew all the stories about who was related to whom and why, and remembered them. When I was a child, I was told all the stories again and again, who was related to whom and why, and who died and why, but I always forgot. Years later, I have no one to tell me the stories. I remember the ladies' perfumes, lilac, carnation, and rose. They smelled like sachets. And I remember arthritic fingers, wedding bands sunk in the flesh. I always imagined they'd have to cut them off. They kept trying to decide whose eyes I had, whose nose, what were my talents. I didn't listen. Now I want to know. I want to know where I fit in that long line of descendants from the countries of the old. Tonight we offer Kaddish for those observing Shiva, Shloshim, or Avilut. And we recognize Ted Bunton, who passed within the last 30 days, and Kennedy Ann Jacobs, and our loved ones for whom we are observing Yahrzeit: Edith Binder, Isidore Cohen, Wally Fisher, Bess Green, Edda Germanic, Harold Kendall, Roz Kleeman, Rose Klein, Samuel Kupperman, Jean Lipset, Rose Myers, Richard Rosenfeld, Eva Rose Spitz Rothman, Sandra Sachs, Pansy Saltzman, Herb Scheinberg, Harry Silver, Norman Weiner. Anybody else celebrating Yisker or Avilut? Or okay, if not, please rise as we turn to page 598 in our prayer book, page 11 in the satellite Siddur. Yiskadal v'yiskadash shemei rabah, v'alma divrach irusei v'yam lich machusei, v'chayechon v'yam echon v'chaye d'chol beis Yisrael, b'agalav v'izman korim v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei rabah mevorach v'om omeom maya, Yisbarach v'yishtabach v'yisbohar v'yisroman v'yisnasei, v'yisadar v'yisalev v'yisalal shemei d'kucha b'richu, v'elam inkal b'chasa v'shirasa, tush b'chasa v'nechemasa, da'miran v'alma v'yimru amen. V'eshlam araba min shemaya, v'chaye olam kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, huyaseh shalom. Oleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen.
To conclude this evening's service, we turn to page 626 in Mishkan Tefillah and page 12 in the satellite Siddur, and join in Ein Keloheinu. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Micheloheinu, Michadonenu, Michemalkeinu, Michemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonai, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonai, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat Shalom.
What? Couldn't make any money out of it, Sue.
Thank you. Wish you were here longer.
Well, I'll be in California if you'd like to join me.
Very tempting.
And then we're back for 2 weeks.
It's a hard life.